Hello and welcome back to Organic Cardboard. My name is Owen Kneep, and today I am very excited and to finally get to open this box. I've held on to it for a few days. I was actually waiting to 3D print some resources for this before I open it. But if you guys are not aware, which I'm sure you probably are, because Stonemaier Games is so popular and everybody's so, in tune with whatever they're doing because they're always putting out great games. They have created Wyrmspan. So this is a sequel-esque, like in the series of the Wingspan games, and it is considered a Wingspan game, but it's got enough new mechanics in it that it's going to be a different type of game. It's not going to be exactly what you expect out of Wingspan, except it does have enough similarities that you definitely know that it is a Wingspan game. So you can kind of think of like Terra Mystica and Gaia Project. So like Gaia Project was a Terra Mystica game. Very, very familiar. When you're playing the game, you know exactly what they're talking about when they are mentioning that it's a Terra Mystica game. Just like that, Wyrmspan is going to be a Wingspan game. But in Wyrmspan, you're going to be dragons. You're not dealing with all these birds. Instead, I guess the dragons ate all the birds, and now we're dealing with dragons. So there's no birds in the game. But there are some neat, interesting mechanics where you're going to be building out these cave zones that you're going to be placing the dragons in. There's baby dragons. You still have eggs that are very similar to Wingspan. You still have a lot of the like special card effects and things like that. You do away with the dice tower. That's a big difference. And then you've got a bunch of different resources that you can gain. You've got some characters that you can send on these little like expeditions into these caves, these dragon caves, to gain resources and other effects that are just like on Wingspan, where you've got every card has got a different special ability to it. But I want to go ahead and get this guy open, because that's what we're doing here today, is an unboxing. And let's see if we can get this centered up enough. Hopefully that's focusing well enough up there. So when I was first going to order this, and they had it on pre-order, I joined that Champions, the Stonemaier Champions. It's like you pay $20 for a year, I think, of it, and then you get like 20% off all of their stuff that's coming out, and you get to get it a little quicker too when it's like a pre-order like this. And they had resources for this game. I'm going to show them here in a little bit what I did with mine, but they had resources that, again, with this like 20% off discount and a save on shipping, I was really tempted to buy them. I didn't buy them because I didn't really think that they looked like they were all that worth it. They're wooden, so that's nice. But I guess maybe Stonemaier has like spoiled me from the Scythe resources. I kind of like expect that high quality from them if I'm going to be purchasing them. And these just look like stamped out wooden resources that they had for the gold, for the gems. You had milk. It's one of the resources that you're using for these dragons, and meat. And meat was the neatest one because they actually did a little bit of screen printing on it, but it was still fairly basic. So I ended up actually designing some resources and 3D printing my own. But I'll show those here in a little bit, and I'll actually give some links to that as well. Okay. So here is the game itself. I'm going to scoot this in just a little bit from up top here. Okay, that's probably good enough. Okay, so we've got a pretty kind of watercolor dragon on the front of it. This artwork is by Clémentine Campardou, if I'm saying that right. So Connie Vogelman designed this, and she just recently designed the apiary with Stonemaier, so I think that was her first game. So she actually was kind of leading the design on this, but Elizabeth Hargrave, the original person that was doing the Wyrmspan game, she gave quite a bit of input with it as well, so they kind of worked together on that. But I believe like a lot of the new like mechanics and how those worked out, at least initially, were Connie's ideas, as far as I'm aware. But she's been doing good. Apiary was really well received. I thought it was a very fine game, and I'm really looking forward to getting this out because I really like the idea of complicating Wyrmspan a little bit, because it's kind of gotten to be somewhat of a basic game. It's a fairly light game, and this kind of brings Wyrmspan up to be a little bit more of like a medium weight game. From what I've heard, anyways. I haven't gotten a chance to play this at all. They don't have it on Tabletop Simulator or anywhere else that I can find. I wanted to try to play it a little bit before I got to it, but you know, you do what you can do. Okay. So here's what we've got inside. We've got the those kind of like nice Stonemaier style rule books that have that paper that's just that kind of linen-y, nice quality paper that you expect. Yeah, this is neat though. They did the Wyrmspan Dragon Facts. So each one of these cards, each one of these dragons are unique as far as I'm aware, and there's quite a few of them in there. And then they did a little bit of background information about each one, as well as I guess their initial card stats with their costs and number of nests that they might have available and their traits. But this is pretty neat. This must have took a minute to go through, even if you're just writing a few sentences about each different dragon, but just the art alone, you know, having to get that together and then having to make up some kind of lore for these dragons. I don't know. I'm sure some of these might be based in some kind of like real world mythology, but I think for the number of them, a lot of these have got to be just made up on the fly. But they're pretty neat looking. Let's see. Yeah, quite a few of them. So flipping all the way through, it looks like they don't have the numbers in order. I'm not sure how they grouped these. Maybe they did it by, it looks like they did it in alphabetical order. But I saw at least 141, 42, 173. Yeah, quite a few. 175. That's just the biggest number I've seen so far. I'm sure it says it somewhere pretty directly in the rule book, but that's neat. I'm actually probably going to go run through that book at some point just to kind of flip through and learn about some of these dragons. Maybe pull it out while I'm playing. They tried to keep off all this extra content on the cards themselves. They didn't want to have this like overloaded kind of content on the card. They didn't want to make it too busy, so they tried to take off some of the stuff. I think they did that on Wyrmspan. They had, I think they had a little bit of information on the cards on Wyrmspan, and they just wanted to make it a little bit cleaner for the gameplay. So we do have an Automa book here as well. We've got the, what you would expect from the original Automa creators. And I would imagine that's probably the Automa Factory. It says it was designed by David Studley, so maybe it wasn't the Automa Factory. I don't know if he's part of the Automa Factory or not. Okay, so we've got a bunch of these pretty small square cards that are going to be the cave cards. So what we're expecting to be dealing with for the caves. And well, we'll go ahead and bust these open while I got them in my hand. I'll bring these to the front just to show. These are going to be pretty basic, nothing too fancy. Just some different types of caves. I think these can go anywhere on the board. There's a few different regions, just like kind of like Wyrmspan, where you got the different colored areas to put things at. There might be things that give you bonuses if you put them in certain spots or something, I would imagine. But just some different little effects that you get when you're going through there. If you've got somebody adventuring into there, they might have something when you just first build it. I'm sure there's a lot of ways they're going to be playing with all these different mechanisms that they've got in here. Got a couple of these little trays. These are a little bit different than what you expect from those really common Stonemaier resource trays that you see. So these are a little wider. more rectangular, kind of, you know, still whatever. I mean, they're just some basic resource holders, but it's always nice to have those. So we've got the eggs. I'll get to some of these dragon cards here in a moment. So some basic wooden little cubes that you're kind of expecting to use for maybe just little trackers and things like that. And then these are, I guess, these are probably the adventurers that you're going to be dealing with. They're like these little meeple guys that are like, hey, look over there. Either that or he's like right in the middle of a disco move. He might be just like jamming hard, but that's kind of what these guys are looking like. Really pretty eggs. These would look nice on Wyrmspan too. These look, God, they look like something I want to eat. They're kind of like candy or something. Kind of look like those malted chocolate malt balls or whatever. Something you might get around Easter. But these are nice. These are really pretty. See if we can put those up in the top camera. Are you gonna focus for me? Getting one going away. Yeah, there they are. It's good enough. Yeah, pretty. They got the little, like, kind of speckly bits on them. That light's hitting that black one very well. Yeah, just some little wooden eggs that have the kind of speckling on them, make them look a little more fancy. One of those eggs got away from me. I heard it hit the floor, but I'll find it in a little bit. Just gotta remember that I dropped one so I don't lose some resources before I even start. These are some little like kind of shield meeple pieces. These are probably for the there's like some kind of like a Dragon Guild chart thing, circle thing that you're going through. You get some little bonuses off of as you're going around in it. There's ways to move up it. I would imagine that's what that's for. Okay, so we've got, just like Wyrmspan, we got quite a few of these cards. I'm going to move that box out of the way. Maybe that thing will be able to stay in focus pretty good here. Okay. Okay, let's see what we got in some of these cards. Man, these packages, I'm never really good at opening these. I'm trying to not get too impatient, tear up my cards at the same time. Okay, so here's a few of the cards that we'll go through here just to show some of the basic artwork. I don't want to probably go through every single one of these. I'm going to kind of flip through a few handfuls, but just so you got an idea, we probably want to leave a few of these, since there's just so many dragons out here. Probably want to leave a few of them for a surprise, but we'll get a handful of these guys in here. Neat looking fellas. But yeah, real pretty, like kind of watercolory artwork that we've done with them, or that they've done with, not that I've done with them, but that I want to remember that name, Clémentine Campardou. Yeah, I don't know if there's really a reason to go through all these packs of cards. Let's go through one more, just a little bit. I'll just flip through a few of these. Maybe there's some of the bigger ones in here, it looks like. But yeah, it looks like it shows like the, like the resource costs and the point value. I think is that little squiggly dragon tail kind of up in the top right. Some of them can hold eggs. I think you have like a pretty small amount of eggs that you can hold before you start getting dragons that can hang on to them. The Primeval Worm. Man, it is tempting to want to just go through every one of these sets. Maybe we'll just go through just a little bit more. Just a few more peeks. So I think this archaic whiskered lung dragon looks pretty cool. I kind of wanted to just show that one. It's kind of like some kind of Chinese dragon a little bit. It's a few more little peaks, what you're looking at. But these are kind of like kind of that wingspan quality that you're used to. In fact, I think these are the same size as wingspan cards, it looks like, just off first glance. I do not know how I'm going to sleeve these little square cave things, but I guess I'm going to figure out some kind of way to do that. They might be the 60 by 60s. I'm not sure. Okay, so then we've got a little scoring booklet here as well. Now here are the resources that came with the game. And then I'm going to show the ones that I did that are different. Let's go ahead and just bring this thing down, where we can get a good look at these. There it is. Okay. So we're going to be using like milk as a resource. I think it's kind of funny. I guess I've heard the term dragon's milk enough and different like D&D kind of games and stuff, fantasy games. So I guess milk makes enough sense. This is the first player marker. It's kind of like that. I guess this is going to be the iconic dragon. I should probably find where that one is just so that we can get a look at that particular card. But that's that same one that's on the front of the box. And then we've also got meat tokens. These are kind of interesting looking meat tokens. They're I wonder if that's gonna. That top camera just sucks at changing its focus, but these little meat tokens are kind of odd, but you know it'll make a little bit more sense, I guess, why I printed the ones that I 3D printed the way that I did after looking at those. Let's see. Okay, so here's the rest of them. There's gold. You've got gold bars. It looks like you've got these maybe ×2. Maybe these are for if you run out of resources here. But yeah, you've got gold bars. You've got more of the meat that we're talking about. And then we've got some different, I don't know how, I guess it's got the little Autumn symbol on this. So I guess that's some of those are Automa cards, and then we've got a few different kinds of guilds. So I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe it says it's for 4 to 5 players. So maybe once we start getting in those higher numbers, we start hitting some weird different play styles. We've got these little gems, these little like kind of crystals. They're showing up here as well, and a guild of seafarers, guild of highlands, rainforest guild, and plains guild. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. But it says 4 to 5 play. I wonder if on the back, 2 to 3 players. So I guess that is probably a normal thing that we're going to be doing. So I'm wondering if that has to do with like some asymmetrical abilities, or if that's just like a way to like change up one particular game here where you've got the different kinds of guilds here. So we will have to see how that plays itself out. And then these are probably the coolest resources that they made. Now this is the only one that I did not print. So these are the coins. They had this cool, like, I'm sure you can see this pretty reflective material that they put on here. I wonder if that's gonna get reflect. Yeah, no, it comes in okay. Real reflective kind of metallic feel. So it gives it that more of a metal kind of look, even though it's obviously cardboard. The coins that these did, they just did not impress me at all. I mean, these, they could have made these look more coin-like. I mean, like, I don't know what they're, if this is supposed to look like you ripped this off the side of a dragon and then they made a coin out of it or something. It's got a little, you got like a little dragon wing on the one side. I'll just bring this to the front camera where you can really see it. But I'm getting my head out of there, so light's hitting weird. But yeah, it's got, I don't know if you can see that well in the camera, but it's got like a wing on one side and then it's just got some scales on the other. So they're a little uninspired. I really like the metallic that they put on it, but it's a little uninspired. And then they had metal coins for these, but they weren't really that much. They had like a ring around them. That was the only other thing that indicated it as a coin. But they're fine. I mean, they're just counters basically for the money. These are what you're going to use for your actions. So you'll gain these coins, and you might gain extra coins, and this is how you'll do your actions in the game, rather than using those cubes. Like, I'm not sure how these incorporate into the game, but from what I've heard anyways, I'm sure these are some kind of counters for something during the game, but then I think all of your actions, instead of using action cubes like you would on Wyrmspan, you'll be using these little metal, not metal, these little whatever, suppose pseudo metal coins, and that's how you do all of your actions. And so you may have, again, opportunities to gain extra actions in one round. But these, again, are fine. If I was going to buy those resources that Stonemaier produced, I would rather probably just go out and get some generic dragon themed coins, metal coins to go with them, because they're just a little uninspired as far as that concern. Maybe they'll come back and do like a realistic resources for Wyrmspan or something. Probably not. Somebody will probably beat them to the punch at this point. So those are all the resources. Let's see. We've got, this is kind of like taking the place of like the little bird display. This is like your little dragon display here. So then you got, I guess, a display for getting the cave cards and the dragon cards up the top. This is the main dragon guild that we were talking about. So this has this kind of like little circle that's going. It's got going around the board in like ways that you're going to be able to move your counter around this, and then probably gain those little extra effects, either resources or maybe an extra dragon card, cave card. And then it looks like it does say place dragon guild tile here with correct player count face up. So perhaps you decide one in the beginning and maybe it randomizes a little bit of how the game's going to play out with this board itself here. There's nothing else on the back. It just says Dragon Guild, the Dragon Guild, and my board's slightly chipped up on the corner, but that's fine. And this looks like maybe the round track. So this maybe has, I wonder if these have those little like round effects that you're looking for, like goals. I can't talk. Goals for each round. So just like Wyrmspan, you had little goals that you'd go for, and somebody gets extra points if they end up beating everybody else to the punch on those. And so then we have our player mats themselves. I might have to move this out a little bit. I think I will. Pull this back just a bit. Okay. There we go. So yeah, so this is the main thing that you're going to be playing with here, besides the dragons themselves. We've got the different areas. So you've got, just like on Wyrmspan, you've got these different areas that you're placing these dragons out. I would imagine they get something, I don't know, maybe some of them have to be placed in certain way. I think that's correct. Like they have colors on them. Like this guy, he just has one yellow, so he can only go in the yellow track. But some of these, just like Wyrmspan, some of these can go into multiple tracks. So that's what I'm expecting those are, just off of my Wyrmspan knowledge and coming to a Wyrmspan game in Wyrmspan. And then we have the different effects that your little adventurer, whatever guild member, investigator, I don't know, biodiversity guy or whatever is bio ranger, your dragon ranger is going through as if you send him on one of these little expeditions. So the more you have built out, the more stuff you'll gain as you go. And then you can spend those coins to do these actions, but if you do them like multiple times, you have to start I guess throwing eggs to the dragons, or they get angry about it and they don't let you through. So you got to bring a bunch of eggs if you want to keep doing the same thing over and over again. It looks like maybe you're limited to doing one area like up to 3 times. And then it gives you a little breakdown of some of the stuff you can do: excavating, enticing, exploring, and then you've got spots to set your eggs at. You can convert any 2 resources to 1 resource. Very, it's expected from Wyrmspan. It's just like in Wyrmspan, you can do the same thing. Common fare. So I got this real pretty kind of watercolor artwork all over the place in this game. So that's on the back of the board here for your player mat. So you have 4 of these. 4 of these. You got 5 of these in the game, so they already got you set up for a 5-player game from the get-go. So cool. Yeah, the Crimson Cavern, the Golden Grotto, and the Amethyst Abyss. That's what you're going to be digging caves into. But that's about it. I went through every one of these cards. Not every one of these cards. I went through pulling out each of these packs. I'm going to go ahead and open this little small pack while I'm at it. I've got to open it up anyways, so might as well do it on the camera. Maybe we can show off the Gambling Land Dragon. I don't get to see the words very well when I'm showing these, but it's pretty inventive little wording that they've got here. And then these are some of the Automa cards. So you have kind of, what you'd expect. There's a bunch of little iconography, and I'm sure there's plenty of rules for how that works. You got some player aids, how to win, and how to play. That's all you need, just that one card, how to play. It probably is about all you need if you already know Wyrmspan. Got some other ones, quick start suggestions, and then you got some stuff talking about future turns. And so you got Automa difficulty levels and Rabble mode difficulty levels. I'm not sure exactly what Rabble mode is, but oh well, I'm sure I'll figure it out soon. But I think that's in general all of the components that you're gonna see when you open up your Wyrmspan game. Looking forward to getting into this. I do like Wyrmspan quite a bit. It's not a game I play a whole lot, but I played a lot on my phone actually because it's just so quick and easy to get out. But I do enjoy it. I've got all of the Wyrmspan content. I've got it all crammed, and I've got the 2 is it two expansions that we did? Yeah, the Oceania and the Europe or whatever, European, whatever it's called. I've got those 2 with the original like jammed in one box, and then I have the little duo one sitting off to the side because it's a lot more portable and easy to drag around. So I'm looking forward to getting into this. I'm really excited about the idea that it's going to be like have a little more complexity to it. Maybe move it up into more of a midweight game. I mean, I guess Wyrmspan it might be on like that light edge of medium, and then maybe this will be a little bit more of a medium game. I'm kind of expecting something along the lines of like maybe Apiary or something like that. Now I do want to show. In comparison, some of these resources and show you. I mean, I don't have the wooden ones that they had available, but I want to show you some of the ones that I printed, and then I'll leave some links in the video so you can, maybe use those yourself if you'd like, if you have a 3D printer. Okay, well, that's at least one of each of them. So, gold bars, easy to do. I thought this just looked nicer than the little wooden ones because at least they've got the color on them. So I printed these out with like a gold shiny plastic PLA. And it's just an ingot. It's pretty basic looking, but it's certainly nicer than just a little. And these are kind of bland looking. Like I'm like, am I looking at a bread loaf, or is this an ingot? What is this? So pretty basic looking tokens. I mean, they're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. But for the gems, I printed out some basic kind of brilliant diamond shapes. I figured I'd play these upside down, actually, because I kind of like the way they point up, because they look a little bit more like what the crystal is, where it's kind of more of a pointy crystal. Now, the ones that Stonemaier created were wood cutouts in this shape, so that kind of like that brilliant diamond cut or whatever. They printed them out just like a flat shape, kind of like Dwellings of Eldervale had a similar style of kind of flat wood cutout. Real indiscriminate. No, they didn't do any screen printing or anything like that on it, so it just didn't really look that great. So I decided that it was not worth the $20 for me to get, or 25 or whatever it was. Now these ones were a little bit more complicated. So I made the meat tokens. This is a weird style of bubbly looking meat, but I made it based off of that style that they had from these tokens. I actually took the image and designed it straight off of that out of the rule book. But just some weird basic bubbly looking meat. These are kind of neat because I took and made these so that I don't know if I can pull this apart, but it's actually got a sleeve on it, because if you're going to do two colors in printing, it can be a little complicated sometimes. So I'm going to put these out in a couple different styles as far as for people to use if they want to download it for free. But it's got like an inner part, and then I got this. These were kind of fun to design. I got these little, I made these little sleeves for them, so then I could just pop them right together. And then it creates that like fat on the outside that you kind of look at when you're looking at a big fatty looking steak. So the dragons should be pretty happy with that. And then the milk was fun. Now this doesn't look super great because it's kind of hard to see through these, but I took like a clear PLA, and then I filled them up with with like a white insert. So it's got a clear bottom on it, but I put a white insert in it. So inside of it, it's maybe a little easier to see in person because this is probably kind of shiny on the video, but you can see through. You can see that there's a white something inside these little bottles. So I'm looking forward to those. I think those would be kind of cool to play with or whatever. It's these little bottles, these little Coke bottles looking things that are full of white, milky looking substance. And then we got the little meat tokens right there. So those were fun. I actually had a pretty good time playing around making those. I don't normally ever do that for games, but for some reason, I think I got inspired by the lack of inspiration that I got from the ones that were offered by Stonemaier. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to like knock on them so much about it. They're fine. They're just, to me, not a necessary purchase and not great enough to want to really spend that money for that upgrade. But anyways, I think that's about all I've got to say about this unboxing for Wyrmspan. Again, really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to get into. I wish I could have found that original dragon from the front. I wonder if I already had gotten through to him, because I'm curious what the name of it is. Hey, there he is. The Royal Wyvern. So this is the main. I figured I needed to throw that in there at some point in this unboxing. Was the main one. Cool. Again, really looking forward to it. I think this is going to be pretty neat to dive into and see what kind of, like, you know, interesting strategies might evolve from this little bit of added complexity to the Wyrmspan system. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. You know, if you enjoy this kind of content, a couple of those free clicks on the screen really helps support out channels like mine, and I appreciate it so much when you do. But as always, do what is right for you. And until next time, guys, I hope you all are having a wonderful rest of your evening. I'll see you on the next video. Take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.